Alright guys, welcome to video number 7. This should be our final video on this build series. So we are getting this Bronco put together. So this is where we are at. Yes sir. So it's coming along really nice. So we got our glass in, everybody's cool, fenders looking good. So I took a little black panel line and went along this top here and along the other side. So we got that sweet looking grill. We're getting ready to put that in. We get that assembled. And also, I think we're going to leave the hood off until we get it assembled onto the chassis. Same as the bumper. I may just put the grill in only, and that's it. So, because there's lineup pins here that line up into the body once you're assembling it. So this way here I can see it as it's going down if I gotta manipulate it or move it around. So with that hood in the way, I'm not going to be able to see that. So I figure it might be just easier just to do it this way and go from there. I do like that the kit does give you side windows, but like I said, I'm going to display mine with the top off in it, so I don't really see the need to put those in, and kind of go from there. So the only thing I'm just hoping, maybe it's, I don't know if it's smart just to do this now, to put this in, or to put this in once it's on the vehicle. They want you to put it all together now. They want you to put the wiper blades on, which I already did those. They want the mirrors on, all the bumpers, everything, pretty much a complete body, and then set it on. Tires, done. But I don't know, I've already mocked this on here. It doesn't go on bad, but it's a little bit of twisting, and you guys know how it is. Once you start twisting and flexing, things start popping off. So I think I may do is just put it together now, and you know, we'll put some of these other pieces on once it's assembled and go that route. I think that's what I'm going to do. Is so with that being said, for those following along with the instructions, so instruction 16, throw you in perspective here. They want to assemble the grill. 17 is the front bumper, 18 is the mirrors. We are done with all that. 19, like I mentioned before, they want you to install everything together. 2021, put the glass into the topper, or the back cover. And we flip back to our back pages. You have page 22, which is installing the body. Like I say, they show this body complete. Why you would throw that on, or why you putting it on, I don't know. Just looks cool in the picture, I guess. And last, they have you put the tires on, and the spare, the taillights, and all that good stuff. So at this point, before I start, I am going to put the taillights in here and go from there, because those look like they push in pretty hard. And these rocker pieces, I already installed those. So I did those when I did the fender flares. So other than that, we are going to jump onto number 25 and put those tail lamps in, and then we'll get back onto 22 and kind of just finish this up. So in an early video I mentioned I painted the tail lights. I did the black around the corner here. I know that's not per box art like the limited edition, or first edition I should say. I believe those were clear, but I do like the black better. And like I mentioned before, mine where the sprue was, it had a pretty nasty mark there. Try sanding it out, and it got uglier and uglier as I went. So that's how I ended up with that. Like I say, I showed you earlier, put some BMF in there and use that for masking. Works great. So at this point, we're going to throw this together, get this guy snapped in here, and see if we can get this together. So what I'm going to do is just put these in pretty much just basically dry, and we'll glue them in once they're in the hole. So on these tail lights, the flat piece goes to the top, and the little piece goes to the outside. See, now we're getting fragile because we're getting more parts on here. So that's where I like to put this now, because those push in really hard. That's basically a friction fit. I probably wouldn't need to put glue in that. Those went in actually really hard, or tough. Let's go that way. They weren't hard, but you know, yeah. So we get this guy in. That one went a lot easier. I'm not a big fan of the lights, of the kind of like your reverse lights. I really don't care for the decals. I think they're just too, hey, you know, just too pronounced. But that's me. I guess they look alright, but they look like they just stand out a little too much. They got that look at me thing going on. So we're gonna flip this over, just put a little dab of dooey inside here. I guess the way the left side went on, I probably could have put that on after the fact, but I didn't know, so now they're on. No worries, all is good. Okay, now the fun part. The anticipation that everybody's been waiting for. Well, not me anyways. So I cleaned the body up, I wiped the glass down the inside. So let's get this slid over here. I always hate doing body, oops, with the glass, because I've had so many times where the glass has popped out. But I think we're gonna be okay on this one. We can get that squared around. I probably see why they tell you don't put the rockers on right now, because I see they're really biting into the sides as I go down with it, and they're digging in right there. So if you painted them, obviously it's going to scratch that paint or have a potential to. So I can maybe see why they tell you don't put them on right now. So once you pull them down around there, it actually fits on here pretty easy from that point. Just getting them down around that lip, like so. So we're almost there, almost there. There we go. So like I say, you got body pegs, so now I can see those are in the hole. This one is not. That's why I kind of want to leave the hood off in it, just to make sure everybody's falling in place and make sure it was down where it needed to go. Kind of a quick look over here. I also know there is body pins in the back, so this tells me the back is not in, because I can still see that inner liner. But those pins I cannot see because they're up top. So looking at the back, it looks like that just needs to be popped in and we should be okay. Tricky, tricky. So not much to grab onto because everything's kind of fragile at this point. I think no, I got one side in. The side's still out. Oh, there it goes, maybe. Okay. So those liners, that's like almost just true with that body. You can see that all the way around. So it looks pretty good there. So now I'm going to take just a little dab of glue just in the corner, just to hold it in. And we'll do final assembly from there. So at this point I can get my grill in, get that all squared away. It's a pretty heavy model, it's kind of unique, so I like it. So the interior fits together really nice inside the body. That looks pretty good. Okay guys, so we got that all tagged down. So off camera I did some kicking and screaming. It wasn't too bad though. So what I ended up doing is I used some CA on the front pins and basically held them down to start with. Used a little Bob Smith on there just to speed things up. So I had a problem with trying to get the pins lined up. So what I did is I put a little bit of CA up in here and then basically just pinched this tight for a while and held it in place till it got where we needed to be, and then we were good. We need to get the grill put in and all that good stuff. So I did a little pre-drilling on the holes here, just because I noticed a few things are a little tight. And yeah, it does have a little pain there, but it's not that kind of tight. You know, I mean, that's like wow tight, like, ooh, this shouldn't be here tight. So I am missing my decal here for this corner. So I probably should figure where that's at first before I get too far. Other than that, I may have to just paint it on or something like that, but I probably should do that before I get started. So they also have you put the hood on at this point. which is kind of cool looking. So I broke a pin on mine because I was that guy when I was cleaning it, or I think when I was taping it. I'm not sure what it was. So I really don't know if I would need the pin on there. It's just more of a guide, and it goes on really, really tight. So in my general fashion, it may just come off and not have one. I'm not sure yet. But the hood is going to get glued down because obviously there's, in this purpose, a frunk, I guess, if you want to go that way, because there's no engine in it. So I'm going to get the grill in first. I may leave the pin in just for a guide. I'm not sure. But you know how it goes. I'll put glue in it, and then the hood will stay up on its own and just not go down. So we'll see. But anyways, at this point, like I was saying, the body went down okay, other than I had to hold that. So when you get this body down completely in the correct spot, you'll notice when this piece here fits in between, and it'll be up level. So then all this will be level as well. So like I said, it was a little bit of a fit. Well, not that bad, but it wasn't too bad once all said and done. So now we can go back and get it going, and like I say, get the front grill and bumper in. So what we're going to do next, and then get the spare tire piece on. So the spare tire piece, this is a third brake light, so I need to paint that first. I think I might do is take BMF and put across there, then paint that red. Because if I put red on there now, you're not even going to see it. I might try the red first just to see what it does look like, because I don't want the bare metal foil on there and it's like, hey, you know, just like it looks generic red, you know what I mean? So I'll try it for either way first and see how it goes, and I kind of go from that point. But what I'm going to do is get this grill put on and kind of work my way from there. So they do give you, you got pins here, as you can see. But like I say, I'm going to have to figure out my marker lights first before I get too far. So I'm going to bring you back and see what I can come up with, because I don't know what I did to the decal, because that's how things go in my world. I cut the stuff out and I think, hey, what did I do with it? I really don't know. Because like I say, I had to redo the grill. So thankfully, oh, hey, haha, look at that. My lucky day. Okay. They're still on the decal sheet. I just cut it and they just, decal sheet, something like that. Well, go back to the scene of the crime and you'll find it. Cool. Because like I say, they give you two of everything. So there's a set here and a set here. So it worked out really good in my favor. Alright, so I still got to put these on the mirror. And that should be pretty much all the decals probably going to be using at this point. Kind of go from there, I guess. So, alright, I'll get these decals on and I'm going to put that grill in and I will bring you back. Alright guys, we got that grill put on and it turned out pretty nice. I think it looks really good on there. So like I say, I did some pre-drilling. The side here is almost tight. This side went really nice, but that's as far as I can push that without damaging anything. So at this point, we're going to get our front bumper put on. So I did a quick test fit on that. That works great. Sits in there nice. Mr. Super Glue, yes sir. So I did opt to put the roll bar on. I got looking back and I thought, you know, I kind of wish I wouldn't have, but they do give you notches here to put that roll bar. And I thought about it too. I should have drilled holes in here because these are your basically your hooks for the front. So I did not put holes in there. I should have. So I'll just slide that bad boy in there. There we go. There. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so we get the back bumper put on. Same thing, we'll just hit it with a little bit of glue. Like I said, very nice kit. Very, very well engineered, that's for sure. Like so. I don't know why. My hooks just seem like they're different distance. Might have to reevaluate that. I got one hanging out further than the other, but they look the same here. Interesting. Alright, we'll throw the hood on it. So I just drilled that pin out a little bit. Like I say, I will use the pin just as a guide. And like I say, the hood will be glued down. So once it's there, it is there. So we're going to little tag in here. I did not test fit the hood because I know once it goes in this hole, it's probably not going to come back out. I'm going to put just a little corner dab here. Just enough to say I touched it. Corner dab there. Hopefully that's enough to bite onto it. See, I can imagine working with those mirrors on there. I'm not sure why they would tell you, hey, put the mirrors on. You will like it. That fit nice. Look at that. That fit really nice. So I'm going to hold that down just for a bit, just because it wants to push a little bit in this top piece on the right side. And then we will move on to installing the mirrors and then putting that spare tire piece on after we get it painted. So I didn't put my decals on here because I figured, you know what, I'm going to be handling it yet. I don't want to take a chance of, you know, rubbing them off or anything like that, going from there. So the only thing I got left, I do got to do a few more touch-ups on the wheels here. My model tool pen was getting a little goofy, so well, I got me another one. I like the 1mm. So on this bead rim here, beadlock rim, they have little bolts in there. So I want to highlight those quick before I put it on. Oh yeah, that bit nice. Very cool, very cool. So I just took a silver Sharpie, just a real quick wipe across here. Just kept it nice and even. And once that dries, we're going to take some clear red. This is the LP52 Tamiya. And I'm just going to do the toothpick gig here. So I'm just going to do the toothpick gig. A little dippy dip. And I'm going to put on pretty heavy. Just to let it kind of form its own lens. Yeah, something like that. Okay, we're going to let that set. Now we'll get it installed. So it gives it just enough of a back color to where it's not bright. I tried the bare metal foil on. It was almost just too much. So the silver marker actually worked really well. So we're going to let that dry for a minute. I did move my tow hook. So now it's more level to the other side. Alright guys, so we are done with our Bronco pretty much. The only thing I left is put the spare tire on. And I thought, you know, I want to do something kind of cool with it because I was looking at the decals. And they, like I say, they give you a lot of extra decals in this kit. So this is kind of what I got left over. So I see this the galloping horse here, the Bronco. And I thought, man, that'd look cool if I put a spare tire cover on that, right? And I can take that decal, put it on there. And then there's a little white Bronco logo there, put that on the top. I thought, man, that looks really cool. So I got thinking, what could I use to make that look cool? Make that look good? And so I got thinking, I got it. It's kind of tricky, and it takes a lot of patience, but I've used it before. But I've never done a spare tire. Is taking tissue paper. Putting tissue paper on it and then getting it wet and then letting it conform down and going that route. So we're going to try it. We're going to do it together. We're going to see how it goes. We'll see. We'll test our patience here and all that good stuff. Now this may not be a first time thing. You may have to do this 25 times. I don't know. Maybe there's a better way out there to do it. This is just something I just come up with just right now on the spot, thinking what could I use to put this on here. So that's what I'm going to go with, and I'm going to try it and see what happens. Yeah, so I do know this is going to shrink. So if you guys ever did balsa airplanes, you know, like this is where I got the idea from. You know, you like your balsa model planes, and when you're done with them, they give you the tissue and you wrap it around, you get it wet and you let it dry, and it shrinks down to the balsa. And that gives you your exterior of the plane. You can paint it, do whatever. I don't know if this tissue is different than that, because this is really thin. But we're going to give this a try and see what happens. So we'll get this kind of centered. We'll take some water. It's just regular, just water. And we're going to just spritz it down like so. And we'll see if we can get this conformed down and around. So like I say, I know you want to get the tissue behind the tire. It has to go behind the tire. It has to. Because when you start drying this, that's when you're going to have issues with it wanting to wrinkle and come up on you. So you're going to get some wrinkles in it, but a lot of those you can wick out with your fingers. And like say, you definitely don't want to pull on it. If you start pulling on it, you will rip the paper, and then you're going to start all over. So it may look a little rough right now, but when it dries, you'll be like, oh, I got it. Like I say, it's a little time consuming. It takes a little patience. So even if you just ball it up in the center for right now and then dry it, then you can always come back and trim that out so it's not as thick. But you definitely want it inside the tire. So what we're going to do is try to walk some of these wrinkles out here. I know a lot of them they're not going to, but I don't want to push on too much because it will rip it. So we're going to leave it at that. And I'm going to take it over to the dehydrator. So if you guys don't have a dehydrator, you're going to have to just let it air dry. But the joys of having a dehydrator, this is one of those times that comes in handy. So hope it didn't just rip that. If we did, it'll be on the bottom. Or it may not dry at all. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to stick this in dehydrator and I'll pull it out. It only should take a few minutes and we'll see what happens. See the dyes coming off the paper. Alright, I'll be back. Alright guys, so it's been sitting in the dehydrator for a bit. So you can see how that shrunk down real nice. So I think it looks pretty cool. The little wrinkles in there don't look bad. I'm going to run with it. So that turned out pretty cool. So it's a little damp here yet. I could probably put that back in there and let it go. So what I'm going to do is leave this on as much as I can. Because the only thing that really sits around that is just this portion here. So that's all I really care about. I'm going to easily try to carefully remove that. So I know it'll fit on the back of the truck. Careful. Like I say, this stuff is really, really fragile, so gotta be real careful with it. So at this point, now that we're dried out, I'm gonna take and put some dull coat lacquer on it. I'm gonna spray it right on top, just like it is. So I'm gonna put it on a skew. Stick this guy in here like so, and I'm gonna take and paint this. So painting this will do two things. It'll stiffen this up a little bit, and when I go to put the decal on it, it'll keep the water from reactivating that tissue paper basically. So take it over to the paint booth and we'll spray this quick and we'll stick back in dehydrator. Alright guys, so we're going to use just the tester's dull coat, nothing major. So I'm just going to give it just a quick spray. I won't go too heavy with it, just enough to cover it. Do the back just to, like say, toughen her up a little bit. We'll hit that front. So like that. Like I say, just a nice light coat just to cover it. Now we're going to put it back in dehydrator and we'll dry it out and we'll bring her back from there. Okay, so while that's cooking, we're going to get some decals ready. So like I say, I think we're going to put this guy on here. The horse on there. That looked pretty cool. And I think we're going to put this white Bronco logo on the top. You know what would look cool too is maybe the AMT logo. That'd look kind of cool. I don't know, the Bronco would look better, I think. So what we're going to do is put these on, and then we're going to put more clear back on it just to seal the deal, and then we're going to leave it at that. So I'll go check with our progress on the dehydrator. So like I say, I'll probably stick them on like that. Bronco on the top, and then the kicking pony on the bottom, and we'll go from there. So let's go see what that looks like. Alright guys, so we got our tire back. So that is dried with the lacquer sprayed on there. So now we're going to try to apply this decal. I think that'll just look cool with the horse on there. And we'll put the Bronco logo on top. I don't know, I think it looked cool. So I got one shot at this, so because I only got one of these. Other than that, you'll just get the Bronco logo on the back, because I got another one of those if I screw this one up. So I may take... I'm going to first look at the tire and see, because it has some wrinkles in it. I mean, that's obvious. So I'm going to see what would be the best for the top. So it looks like right here would probably be your best option for the top. So I'm going to leave that down like that. So we're going to get this on there. I'm going to dry some of the water off in it just to give it a little head start. Wow, the tail just ripped off. Did you see that? That's not cool. Alright, we can put that back on. Decal on there nicely. Now, the problem with this, I can't really move it around too much. Just because I don't want to poke a hole in it. Looks like that's where she's gonna stay. I'll try to put the tail on it here. I'll put the Bronco logo on the top. I just hope that little cut there, where that broke. Like I say, once I set that on that paper, she's not moving. So if you guys are doing something like this, make sure you get it where you want it, because that's it. There ain't no moving around from there. Like I say, there might be something better to use. This is just something I just come up with real quick tonight, and just like, you know what? Let's try it. So obviously, we can't move it around, so we're gonna have to make this count. It'd be easier doing it this way. Like so. Nope. Nope. Something like that. That looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to stick this back in the dehydrator, try to dry the decal up, and then we will hit it with clear coat once again and should be ready to install. Okay guys, so here's our tire cover out of the dehydrator. It dried pretty nice. The horse has a little bit of, I don't know, deformity I guess, or whatever, wrinklage, but you are putting a decal on top of paper, so I mean, I guess it is what it is. So still looks pretty cool. Should look pretty cool hanging on the back. So what we're gonna do is take you back over to the paint booth, and we're gonna shoot this with another hit of dull coat, just a real light coat, and we'll bake it one more time and we'll be done. What I want to do is just keep this real light, just a nice light hit. Just enough to seal the deal. That's gonna do it right there. Alright guys, so this is our final product of our spare tire. So that's clear coated, well, dull coat I should say, again. So we're just going to leave that like that. I don't want to take a chance of ripping it. And it's pretty tight. We'll get this installed on the back of the Bronco, and we'll do a final look at it and wrap this video up. Alright guys, so this is our final on the Bronco build. I think that turned out pretty cool. Give it a little spin around here. So like I say, that is the MCW Area 51. And with that bare metal foil inside those headlights, that turned out really cool looking. That gives it a nice realistic look, I think. Give it a little spin around the old carousel here. So we got the light painted on the back. So what I did with that is I just took the Sharpie marker, and it gave it a little nice little edge on it as well. Painted the tow hooks red. So yeah, so I think that turned out pretty cool. So let's take a look at the interior quick. like I say, I'm not overly impressed with my dash work on it. I don't know, just when I clear coated it, dull coat it, it just didn't seem to turn out as nice as I'd liked it to. It's not wanting to focus on that dash. Let me try something here. There we go. So yeah, so it's not my best dash work. I guess it is what it is, but so taking a look at it from the bottom here, giving it a real world stance. Like I said, I think it turned out pretty nice. So you can see I did my skid plate in more of a kind of like the silver chrome color. I just thought that had a nice look to it. And taking a look underneath of it, so it turned out pretty decent. A little bit of black panel line inside the exhaust. So yeah, nice builder, nice kit. So then that, guys, that's gonna wrap up the Bronco build. Yeah, so gotta have a little shot with the top put on it. So that top fits really nice. The back window is not as secure as it should be because I was just carrying it over here a second ago and I dropped it. And that back window just goes, haha, see ya. That's just the way it goes. So it's just kind of sitting in there. But I probably am planning on just displaying it with the top off. It's just, I like that look better. So that's how mine is going to go. Like I said, it comes off really nice. So yeah, like I say, nice kit. I probably could do a little more work on that tire cover. Maybe I'll work on it a little bit, see if I can flatten out a little bit, but it looks all right. I kind of like the looks of something on there versus just the tire hanging off the side. So yeah, so that is the build on the Bronco. So like I say, this model come from Hobby Nut Models, so Mark does support the channel, so he supplied this model with the paint to give it a work over and show you guys how they build out. And like I say, just an excellent model. Went together very well. The only issues I had with it that I thought was kind of an issue, the decals, they apply really nice, but they are on the thick side. So as you can see a little bit around my mirrors, even with some microsol, it didn't really want to squeeze down that great, you know, not like some of the other decals that are a little thinner. These decals are almost a little thick, but they do slide nice, so that is a plus. Other than that, I had a few things I had to just kind of pre-drill a little bit, not even because of paint, just a little bit of a tight fit. But all in all, nice model. I'd definitely build another one. You know, obviously a different color, just do something different. I kind of wish they'd make a 4-door, because, you know, 4-door is kind of more that's more of the popular one out there is a 4-door version. But either way, it's cool to have one, no matter what. So it's kind of a nice build to start with. So that is my build on the Bronco, guys. And like I say, it was a nice kit. You guys should go pick yourself up one. Yeah, so that's all I got for you on that. So once again, I appreciate you guys tuning in and following along. And we're going to wrap this one up. So we will see you guys on the next build. And you guys have a good one. We'll see you later.